Welcome, Moonlight here. It's funny whenever it says you're going live. I feel like I feel like the news lady or something like that. It's kind of weird, and every time it says you're going live, I kind of get this little um a little jolt of um whatever it is we do to present, to put on the oh yes, oh hello, yes, here I am, and and whatever it is. um Oftentimes, when news presenters are presenting, it's not genuinely, they're presenting the news, so they have to um take on a persona and a reflection, and they need to be able to trans translate that, translate it, transmit it, and and it's a very serious business, and it's quite funny when the news reporters are, they think they're not live, and then and then the cameras you know happen to stumble upon a bit of their humanity. you know and so there's balance within the worlds that we perceive. um you know we're just downloading when we're watching a screen, and we are seeing a reflection of something. We are just downloading a lot of messages, and so the transmission often has to be um, to match the story, whatever the breaking story that is the news. And so, yeah, because it wouldn't really be the news if it wasn't, didn't look like we were, you sort of, up straight, rigid, and oh, we're here to bring the news. Like it's a very serious business, and the moment that camera comes on, we have to um, take on that energy, that it's a very serious world out there, and there are many things to fear, and we are going to tell you all about them. And so, oh gosh, we sit and watch our TVs, and goodness, have you heard? And it's sort of like that's the that's the reflection of the collective. Did you watch the news last night? Did you see that? you know and so um we kind of regurgitate the news, and reflect the news, and whatever's going on in the news is going on in us, right? Or is it? To some degree it is, but it's just remembering that as the people we are part of the news. As the people, we are part of the spiritual revolution. We are the energetic match. We are the exchange of energy that provides the story. You know what I mean? It's like, um so there are two stories that are running now. Not just the news. There's now the news, and then there's also the news that is coming through from the people. The good news, yeah. The good news is this: is that we get to choose. We get to choose how we drive and use our consciousness and our energy. That's the good news. It's bloody good news. It's really good news. It's really good news. Um, Another thing that is good news, that I thought I should really mention, because it's very serious, is that we are required, of course, to wear masks and what have you. Um, the good news is that we're not required to wear an emotional mask. We're not required to have to um, absorb completely that vision of all of us dropping like flies, the raging pandemic that is upon you, you know, and all this death and the stench of death and bodies and whatever. I mean, that's not the vision that I see. That's not the New Zealand that I see. I don't see that vision at all. I see a strong and resilient people, a people that are you know willing to work together and to establish the governing spiritual principle by which we live. We move with the times. We I see a people that say, well, the cost of houses is high. um the amount of houses is low. uh, I think what we need to do is make the decision that we purchase land and create community. Um, we've made that decision because the houses are too high. The houses are too high. The prices are too high. The houses are too high. They have become towers that are toppling over from all the imbalance. And so we begin to realize that actually within our collective self, once we are truly connected in the heart space, which is the place of the spiritual principle. It's the place of the spiritual speak, where we live from the heart, when we speak from the heart, when the practices that we practice are connected to the rhythms of the earth and the rhythms of the people and the rhythms of the natural world from which we came. You know, when we are beginning to reflect that world, we look at things and we say, oh, all this control, all this control, what control? It's we worry about being controlled, and yet we don't focus upon the things that we are liberated and free to do, like the freedom of speech. Make sure that your speech and your transmission and your artistic expression of the days in which we live is broadcast from a balanced and trusting perspective. Because if we are broadcasting from a place of imbalance, say of anger or of fear, which is just another, anger is just a differently constructed form of fear, because the anger is about um the perception that we are trapped, that we don't have anywhere to go, all these sorts of things. So that comes from that perspective. And if you hold that perspective in your heart, then you become that reflection, you know. And so what we must realize is that um, that light, or that soul energy heart transmission that we are here to bring is when it is balanced, it is coming from a place of you are inspired and you are empowered. Therefore, you inspire the observer and you empower them. Okay, we've had enough of dark energy and aggression and resistance and violence um, and and trying to manage fear in a way that is weak. We've done that. Didn't work. Didn't work. because you will by default become the reflection of the projection, because you are holding it in your heart. You are, and the anger and the resistance towards it, therefore that is what you are creating. You are creating um this prison that you perceive yourself to be in through your own beliefs. And those beliefs, when you make a judgment about the world or about the government or about what is happening, when you make a judgment, that is saying, you are speaking forth um the what you are what you believe, you are what you are afraid of. You are manifesting um the belief that is attached to your own fear. And and so this kind of psychology um that we learn from the world religion um is not healthy. So I want to talk today about the spiritual perspective um of the energetic dynamic, um the energetic dynamic of what is being projected. So what is news, what is happening in the world, all these sorts of things. Okay, I'm looking at this from a spiritual perspective, um which means that um I'm seeing it for what it is. For what it is. It is a psychological game. Life, it's a psychological game that we play. And there needs to be balance in that game. There needs to be rules that apply to all. And there needs to be the energetic balance of trust. Now, um we've lived under an old pattern, but that pattern is changing, and it's changing in us, in our heart. Yeah. If you identify too strongly with the shadow, it will drag you down into your own created hell form, which is just the thought forms that you've created about what you believe, okay, about the world, and about these things. The thing is, that in itself is called being unconscious. We don't hold, if we are not holding the consciousness and driving the consciousness, if we are not holding that energetic space for the heart transmission, and the manifestation of what we want to create, then we are allowing for that energetic space to be taken up. Mhm. And it's taken up by um like a system-based consciousness. And and then that is 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 what forms our beliefs, and therefore, you've got to understand that um we are part we we have to take responsibility ourselves, um for what we have created. Everyone does. If the virus came from Wuhan, is blaming Wuhan and getting angry at the Chinese and all, does that achieve anything? Does that change anything? No, it doesn't. When we can say, look at ourselves and go, instead of blaming, we can go, okay, well, you know, have I engaged in some form of in something that is not connected to the natural order of things, and the natural rhythm and order of how we are meant to be in terms of natural. Yes, all of us have. I believe that this is the wake up call for all of us, not just the government, not just the people, not just whatever group that we think is to blame. you know, this is something that we've seen happen, and then therefore now that there is this virus that's out or whatever, then we need to go, okay, we need a new system. We need a new system. The systems are breaking down, they're breaking down. Um, when it's no longer resourceful, when it's no longer the things that we're doing are actually causing more damage than good, then there needs to be there needs to be um, a within that energetic exchange of the mind and the heart, between the government and the people, between the old world and the new world, between the old system and the new system and way of doing things, that this world needs to accept that this world exists. Okay, it is not just their world. And if they want it to just be their world, then this world will go bye. We will create our new world. We will begin to build the house, and it is built on the spiritual principle. And that spiritual principle is global, national. Okay. It is the governance of the spiritual principle. Who wants to work with us? The 99%, the people. You know, if you want, if the current systems want to be part of the people, then they must be part of the governing mind that is an energetic match to the governing heart. And we are that governing heart. Okay, the spiritual leaders will step forward out of those shadows, and they will say, yes, it is time to present and introduce you to the vision that we have of our world. There must be balance and there must be trust. And if you no longer bring us balance or trust, then we will find it in other leaders. Create the paradigm shift. Sorry about the lighting. It's not the best this time. I nailed it last time, and then this time I don't even know. Maybe that's a bit better. It's a bit sort of like shadow and light, which is what life is like. Okay, so we are at nearly 20 minutes, so I don't want this to be too long. I just want to punch out some stuff and yeah, I'm sure there's a punchline in there for you somewhere. So I want to now move into the metaphorical story of the virus. So this is looking at it from a spiritual perspective. Okay. There is a virus that is far greater than the coronavirus. There is a virus that is far greater than the Delta strand. There is a virus that is far greater than any virus we have known or will know. The virus is a virus that we mask. It is a virus that causes us to become separate, to become unseen. And yet it remains to be the most deadly virus of all. This virus we've all fallen prey to without even knowing it's there. This virus exists within the emotional underworld. And this virus is the virus of fear, resistance, and judgment. We've become vulnerable to this virus because it seeks to weaken and destroy the spiritual strength that we are. The symptoms of this virus are as follows. This virus restricts and contracts the heart energy and connection. It causes us to lose our peace and our sense of balance and trust, our common sense, our spiritual sense. This virus is what will attack our emotional guidance system and the awareness of self, because it compromises that awareness and empowerment of self and the connection that we have to our light. This virus will teach the spiritual body to become distracted, disillusioned, and disempowered. Watch out for this virus. It is what causes the maddening crowd to turn on itself, because no one knows who is the enemy. When we all perceive the other as the threat, what does that create? Causes such imbalances within our soul. And this is the virus. I'm not saying it's the actual virus, I'm just saying it's a metaphorical um, reflection of the spiritual virus that we are that is out there. Let's say that is out there. So here I'm really getting into this now. I hope you are too. I hope you are too. If life was given the choice to be successful, and teaching humanity one thing, and here we go. Here we go. No, listen here. We are life. So let's put that different. If life was given the choice to be successful at teaching itself one thing, what do you think that one thing would be? Okay. Life is here to teach us to listen to our senses, to our spirit, to our heart. We're here to find the collective reflection of self that makes sense to our own soul, okay, our own soul path, because it recognizes that each and every one of us have the right to exercise our own free will. I've got to go. I've got to pick up my son. We've been given the free will to live our lives in a way that makes sense for us. We make choices. We need to see all of the choices before us, and we need to be able to have clarity and to make decisions that are balanced and trusting. If we are having someone else make decisions for us, they need to be decisions that are balanced and trusted. And we can't get to the place um, of finding those perspectives that are balanced and trusted, and until we can stack all the information that the government has presented to be the case, and 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 all the body of information that has been presented, that has alternative perspectives to what something is. If we haven't, if this is the first, coronavirus, or we are the people that are learning the ways in which we manage it, then there needs to be a balanced perspective, period. There needs to be two bodies of information. there needs to be two stories. The story of the people of the heart, um, that was constricted and contracted. Okay, there needs to be that story that needs to feature in the news, and we have that news stream going, because we are online and we are balancing and walking that tightrope. There it is. So I'm just gonna finish this nice and quickly. We are here to find the collective reflection of self that exists beyond the shadow, beyond the world of fear and the world of viruses. Okay. um, there will be others of us, that the in the leaders of that are amongst us, that will find other solutions and remedies to a virus, that that will make sense to people, that makes sense too, as well, um, because um, there are many experts in the field of health. Health is something that is spiritual as well, and there are many variations and spiritual practices that recognize different elements of what health actually is. And the human right is that we are able to access those. You know, that's the human right, and that's the governance, the overarching governance of the spiritual principle. So, we're here to find the collective reflection of self that is beyond the shadows. We've been under the shadows for so long. And, I think in terms of the spiritual virus that is out there, or is it in here? The thing is, we'll talk more about that later. The shot that really counts at the moment when facing this emotional virus is the shot that will truly protect us all. From the spiritual virus. I think we could all benefit from a healthy dose of the common unity of the spiritual principle. I think we could all benefit from a healthy dose of balance and trust. Did you know that the perspective that we hold within our heart becomes the reflection that we give to the world? Yeah. So, with that said, I want to bring another perspective and another reflection and another vision. We all know that within any energetic dynamic, there's two stories. Everyone has rules. Okay, that is called our sovereignty. That is our sovereignty, and we all have sovereignty because this is our consciousness. Okay, we choose what will enter this control center. We choose what will enter. Okay, and if there's old energetic patterns that need to just go, just let them go, let them go. We cannot hold on to old paradigms anymore. If you have a business, the best thing for you to do is to take the skill, the talent, the passion, everything that you have, and um direct it towards the new world. Get online is the other thing. Recreate it, recreate it to match um what is happening. It's okay to do that. Some of us think we need to hold on to the way everything has been. Yes, hold on to the things that are resourceful. Okay, and the things that will empower us and inspire us. Hold on to those things. Listen to the heart that inspires you. Listen to the wisdom of the light and the shadow. Okay, the soul evolution. Um, right.